Hi magical families, it's Casey here. Thanks for joining us in our magical circle. Today we're celebrating in the children's way with woohoo, I'm Pagan too. We are so excited to have you here today. We're going to do poems and talk about crafts and maybe a few other things including elemental altars along the way. We hope you will join us and have plenty of fun on this great summer day.
A rainbow I see. Inside and out the colors make me. Every shade and every color. I can't have one without the other. I color my world with the shade of my cloak. With a candle I invoke. And the color like a flower, I unlock the power. And like the bee, its powers are attracted to me. Woohoo, I'm Pagan too.
One of the first altars many people on the pagan path set up is one dedicated to the four elements: earth, air, fire, and water. Some of these can present a challenge because what should you use? Should you use a candle? Are you allowed to have candles? Should you use a big glass of water? What if it spills? Well, today I'm going to show you some things that represent earth, air, fire, and water. Let's start with earth. You might choose something as big as this giant pine cone that grew on a giant pine tree that was given to me by a friend. You might choose this super awesome stick you found on a super awesome walk when you were walking with your family. You could choose a nut, some bark, some sand, or in my case, I chose some clay and I made it into a bunny that burrows. See my cute little bunny? What animal will you make to represent the earth? Hi, bunny. Now, how about fire? Fire presents an interesting challenge because we don't play with matches and we don't play with lighters. So one thing you can always use to represent fire are rocks. You can have a big, beautiful, polished rock like this one, or a very special rock you found along your path one day, like this one. Both rocks carry the energy of both earth and fire. You might choose forged metal. This silver spoon certainly had to go through the fire to take such a unique shape. It was worked by man. You might choose raw metal or other forms such as any one of my rings. Metal is a good representation of fire. You could choose an electric candle. These are both safe and accessible, and you can use them whenever you want. Plus, this one comes in a super fun star shape. What fun! Lastly is a craft project that you would have to complete with an adult. Using crayons, you can cover a box, both front and back, by melting them in the hot sun or with a hairdryer. It carries the energy of the warmth that you created. Fire, earth, air, and water can all be represented in any way. Let's look at air. Air is often represented by feathers. Here's a peacock feather. Here is a pheasant feather. These are kind of fancy feathers. I don't know what type of feather this is, but I know I found it and it made me happy one day. And this feather was brought to me by my babies. And it's a itty bitty baby feather. All of these feathers carry the energy of air. Other things that carry the energy of air make noise. Can you hear them? Oh yes, you know what I'm talking about. Jingle bells. Or these kind of bells, should be called a chime. Or even this little tiny set of 3 bells. Don't forget about that's right, a whistle. Any one of these, as well as singing a song, is a great way to bring the energy of air. One last air element is our words. That's right, we use the air to communicate our words. So our words and breath carry the energy of air as well. Let's talk about water. Now I don't know about you, but I don't want big bottles of water around my house, especially open bowls of water. Other than to feed the pets, it can be very hazardous and spill. So we use some other things to represent water. A lot of these things come from places where there's lots of water, like seashells, big ones and little ones, different shaped ones, and ginormous ones. Look at that one. It's huge. Here I have a shark's tooth, but something else that represents water is a mirror. This mirror, like a looking pond, can represent water as well. These things can sit out in your house and never ever spill. What will your elemental altar look like? Will it have a shark's tooth? Will it have a pine cone? I can't wait to see. I found a baby honeybee, brought it home and set it free. My garden's full of flowers, needing pollinator powers. Then she started dancing, a dance I've never seen. Oh, to my surprise, this honeybee's a queen. Every garden needs a queen. She gives the plants 1,000 wings. When the hive is alive, the garden is sure to thrive. In the garden flowers buzz, finding pollen is what a bee does. As we safely play away, dancing like bees all day, working hard in the sun, back to the hive when the day is done. Pollen makes honey yummy, made by bees when it's sunny. Mother Nature's sweet gift to me, thanks to a little royal bee. Oh, so tasty! Hello, I'm super excited to be doing a craft with you today. We are going to make personalized candles, but we're not going to use the stove and we're not going to melt anything. So how are we going to personalize the candles, you ask? Let me show you. you're gonna need a few things. First, you're gonna need a candle. I like a big fat candle for this purpose, and you'll see why. So you need a candle. You're going to need some tissue paper. Plain white tissue paper is great. You can also get any other tissue paper you can get your hands on. And you're gonna need markers, which I don't have an example of that, a blow dryer, and real true wax paper. Contact paper is not gonna work. You need wax paper, wax paper. All right, here's what we're going to do. First, you take the tissue paper. The tissue paper is the lowest grade of paper that there is. It cannot be recycled. It is very, very thin, as I'm sure you know. It's easy to rip like that. And it's just, after this, it is useless after this stage. But that makes it very useful, because if you color on it, like my daughter did right here, we can use this to personalize our candle, believe it or not. Now, please notice that she had a little accident with the markers here because it's such a low quality paper. If you color on it like this, it'll rip like this because it only takes a little bit of moisture to make it rip. So when you're coloring on tissue paper, do long lines like this that overlap each other. It gives this part time to dry while you're all the way over here, and it's slow. It's not quite like normal coloring, but you won't rip. Even if you do rip, it's not a problem, because the first step is to do more ripping. So we're gonna rip as close to what you want on the candle. So we're gonna go right around here. And to rip in a controlled way, we're just gonna keep our fingers really close together, a nice white edge. It doesn't have to be a neat edge. We do want a ripped edge right there and not a cut edge. You can cut it, but I think the ripped serves a little bit of a purpose, and I'll show you what I mean in a little bit. Take that. It's not perfect. Nobody's looking for perfection here. It is the intent in what you're doing, and this is her sunshine for the summer solstice. Oh, I ripped her sun a little bit. I hope she won't be too mad at me, because I think the effect will be the same. Just take your time, working all the way around what you want to put on your candle, all the way around like this. Now, step number 2. There we go. Step number 2. You're going to take your wax paper. You're going to need enough wax paper. Again, this is real wax paper. It's very important you get real wax paper. Enough to cover that comfortably. You want enough space. It's going to be wax side down, which is the side that's on the underside of the roll. So right there. And then you're going to take your candle and you're going to first put your picture ink side down on the candle. I think the inks get a little brighter this way. Doesn't really matter, but it matters to me. And remember, if you're flipping the paper over, you have to mirror image any words. Next, you're going to wrap the wax paper, holding it very tight against the drawing. Now, if you are a child, you need an adult. So stop right now if you are a child and go get an adult right now. Because the next part is to get this hot. What you're doing is you're taking the wax from the wax paper and forcing it to melt with the wax on the wax candle and fuse the paper between. Now I am testing a candle on this right now to see how that burns, but it doesn't seem to be having any problems so far. We'll go ahead and blow dry this on a high temperature. Now notice, I'm getting really close to the candle. candle. It's gonna take less time if I get really close to the candle. Now, as you can see, I was holding the blow dryer pretty close to the candle. Candles melt at pretty high temperatures, so it's important to get it a little hot. I was burning my hands a little bit, and that's why you need an adult. And even the adult might want to wear gloves. I've been crafting for a really long time, and so I just don't. But there you go. Give it a little rub. It's cooling down. You can see that you can no longer see the edge of my tissue paper. And when I take this off, oh, there's a little bit of an edge. A little more blow drying is in order. Ready? Here we go. And I'm gonna just rub it, forcing the tissue paper down into the wax that's slightly warmed up. Just rubbing on that. As you can see, when I saw there was a problem, I simply laid back down the wax paper, only to pick it up again. Now I slightly melted it. There we go. We bring it right up and we can see no tissue paper, only one beautiful sunshine on a candle. And I did some others earlier, so just so you have some examples. I think I heard Aurora say something.
What's that, Aurora? There's something in your magic box? For me and my friends?
What is it?
Wow.
Shut the box. Don't let it smash Aurora.
It's a comic book with a purple marker with a pencil.
So what is another name for that? Do you know?
Journal.
It's a journal or a book of shadows. And what do we use a journal or a book of shadows for?
To write down our feelings once in a while.
What about, do we ever write down what we did for the holidays? Do we ever write down what we did under the full moon? Do we ever write down our feelings?
Yeah.
What about our dreams?
Yes.
What if I told you a journal is your most important magical tool? What would you say?
Yes.
Why?
Because that answer was right.
Why is it right?
Because we do write down our feelings and what we did over the weeks, months, years, and a whole bunch.
And writing it down, does that help you remember?
Yes.
Does it help you learn?
Yes.
Is it fun?
Yes.
Do you ever draw pictures?
Yes.
Do you ever put stickers in there?
Yes.
Have you ever glued something in there?
I've never glued something in there.
Have you ever had to scribble in it because you misspelt a word or messed up?
Yeah.
Is it still okay?
Yeah.
Is it still an amazing journal?
Yes.
So that's our special journal that we're going to do together with Aurora because she doesn't have one yet. So she was hoping you would help her make one. Would you help her make her very first Book of Shadows?
Sure.
Yay! Thanks for coming, Magical Families. I really appreciate you being here with me today. I really hope you enjoyed some of the crafts and poems read today. There is so much more waiting for you at hesperidesgarden.org, where we have stuff for families, adults, kids, everybody. Everybody is welcome at hesperidesgarden.org. We are so happy you joined us, and we hope to see you again very soon.